Did you believe that S&P's decision to downgrade our U.S. debt was a responsible decision? Some people have actually suggested that what they were ultimately doing was downgrading our currency, which is what you've sort of suggested just now. Is happening
In some ways, I think it's irrelevant. You know, the markets are much more powerful. They'll downgrade whatever they need to. But for the moment, and for traders, you know, this can be a big deal. And politically, it can be a big deal. But if one announcement like that from somebody like Standard & Poor's that didn't have any idea what was going on with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac can change things. So if that announcement pushes the dollar down and causes some chaos in the stock market, they were destined to do that anyway. So those are just excuses. So I don't think an announcement, although in a very short time in a day-to-day trading has a significance, that doesn't change things. What if they made this announcement and the dollar was as good as gold and everything was hunky-dory? Those announcements would have no meaning. So I think they're just sort of trying to catch up with the market. I mean, I cannot believe people would have high rating for any of this paper money and paper bonds long term when it earns no interest. It's so distorted, and then they decide that you know, all we have to do is set up a committee of 12 and we're going to come up with so-called cuts, which aren't cuts. There are no cuts that anybody's proposing, so no wonder why people are negative. But what I worry about the most is the consequence of currency destruction is violence. And boy, every day there's more and more violence, whether it's in London, demonstrations in Israel, all around the world, revolutions going on. And this is all related to sometimes prices of food going up. And this is all related to this fictitious notion about what money is and what it should be.
Yeah, I remember when you asked Chairman Bernanke about whether gold was money, did you find the answer not satisfying?
Well, it was sort of a silly answer. I mean, he can't repeal 3,000 or 4,000 years of history. Money has to come out of the marketplace, as von Mises taught. He says you can't create money out of thin air. Now, when you do, the only reason the dollar has existed by being created out of thin air because it originated in the marketplace. It was a silver standard. It was 370 grains of silver. That's what the definition of a dollar still is. So you can't do this. So for him to say he can repeal it by saying, nah, gold is just a regular asset and we hang on to it just because of tradition. But the markets are saying, look, when times get tough, they go to the gold. And that's not my theory, and that's not a recent theory. That's been around for a long, long time, and they're not going to be able to repeal it.
All right, Congressman, appreciate your time this morning. We hope to see you again soon, and you know, you're like in the top 3 on most of these polls, so I don't know how you get to the top, but probably doesn't